everyone, welcome back to my channel Kofa Semeleka. We're still continuing with Matthew 27:21 to 29, and we're now on verse 22. If I can read it. Verse 22 reads, Pilate saith unto them, What shall I do then with Jesus, which is called Christ? They all say unto him, Let him be crucified. I think it's also 23. And the governor said, Why? What evil hath he done? But they cried out the more, saying, Let him be crucified. So you see now that with July 18th, that happened in 2020, because when you look at the messages of Jeff Pillinger and his movement, which I come from, and I'm not in opposition to the messages, because those tools are tools I also believe, which are tools I use in my messages too. But it will not remove that they remove me in those messages. They cast me out of the groups. And not only that, when I had my messages in 2020 and they were not yet fulfilled, they told me that they didn't think a person from Africa would be called as a next in line to Jeff. And not only that, they also didn't believe that I would come up with these messages of bombings, of civil unrest, of these messages that I'm coming up with cannot be possibly the messages that are supposed to be next in line to July 18th. And when they did that, and July 18th hadn't happened yet, and they rejected my messages, I did not know whether or not when they happened right in front of them, they would believe them. So you see now that from the fulfillment of the messages of 2020, when the Taliban insurgency happened, and it almost happened to give the people power, and it separated the state and the people had the power to do whatever they liked without the state controlling them over them. So the people ended up getting their own leaders. You can see people getting their own leaders, and the state having to deal with their own problems in the government, and the people deal with their own leaders, who are people too, dealing with the problems of the people. So now you see that there needs to be this bridge that joins the leaders and these people with the state, and the state having its own lords, with the kings and everyone in the state along with the people. You get from midnight to the midnight cry 2021 to 2024, and you see that it's the state. So the people who are taking care of us, when I say us, I mean President Joe Biden and the moth, which is me, are people in the state. And the people who are taking care of Adventism and helping them are people, which is people in general, because now people can see that they have the power to rule themselves without the state, when they have to come together with the state in one way or another and have that bridge where the people agree to disagree, or disagree to disagree, or agree to agree with the state. Midnight to midnight cry is then the state, and the midnight cry to the Sunday law is the people. So you find that people are going to be the ones execute judgment on other people during the time when it's the destruction of Jerusalem. So then you see where the soldiers come from, when it's not necessarily the government that is the soldiers ruling the people, but you see that it's the people ruling other people to go forward into war, as they engraft themselves and engraft each other into their army to go to war with other people. Crucify him, the multitudes cry. When the multitudes cry that Christ should be crucified, and Christ in this instance, and you can see that these two Barabbases, the son of the father and the daughter of the father, when I should have been the daughter of God. When you put that in an acronym, it's a dog, which means already I'm a bitch. So when you see that, you can see that I don't know why I'm getting tickled. It's almost like it's laughing. I'm just, there's something that's tickling me. You can already see that. Now, President Donald Trump is in sympathy. He's sympathizing with his friend. And I'll say that Jeff Pippinger is his friend, because Jeff, he wrote a letter to President Biden, to President Trump, when he was still president in 2020, I think, to explain to him the times, and explain to him July 18th. So President Donald Trump in 2023, when he sees this insect phase come, he asks the question, what has he done? What evil has he done? Because he can see that there are three powers here at play. These three powers is Queen Esther, which is me, is a moth, and she's an insect of the message of the hour. And the second power is King Charles in England, who's just entered as a king. He's fresh, he's ready to go anytime tea. And he comes in and he goes as an insect with something that has been placed and put into place since 2021, when he saw my messages and the posts on Facebook, which were quote unquote rude. And in 2023, he is ready to hit me. When this happens, President Donald Trump comes in from winning the half-term elections in America, and he's asking, what evil has he done? Speaking about Jeff Pippinger, because he can see now that though I'm being hit, the person who's being killed here is Jeff, because he can see the third power from 9/11, that power that has for years hated Jeff's messages, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, when they're trying to save up their pastors and their elders in the church who was sold with an evil spirit, were gonna be destroyed, and were gonna be destroyed this year. And they take that judgment and put it as a third judgment, which is the moth insects, me being the moth, eating up the messages, and the King Charles of England testing the people in the messages, which is Jeff, would have been Jeff, by bringing the insect phase, which was on itself very, very painful. And you see this third power, this is a power that comes with demons. But because in 2021 they knew they would want to bring this third power, and because they wanted the glory and the money of the messages of 2020, they came to me with this third power. So now I suffered with the insects. I suffered also with the demons. When they entered into my womb and they tried to sort out my feet, when my feet day in, day out have things going on with it, and I can't sleep day and night over hearing them every single day and night, sing songs when I don't want to hear songs, share scriptures when I don't want to hear the voice of their voices, when I don't want to hear their voices over what I'm trying to process in my mind with these messages, with what's happening in the world, and they don't want to know. They don't want to know what's happening in the world. They want us to know what's happening in their kingdom of heaven, and they believe they have a different kingdom of heaven to us, and they believe that my God is not the God that they serve. And I say that very well, with very, very literally, because I lived with my younger brother in Pretoria in 2022, and I worked as a waitress. And when I did, this one guy from Zimbabwe who had issues with me, and I had issues with them over them being very discriminatory towards my brother. And he came to me after me fighting with them over them inviting many people in the common room that was made for students to come and live there and sleep there, as many people in how many rooms? Like 3 rooms, and this one room that was vacant that didn't have anyone there, and obviously they squatted, of which I didn't mind that so much because I also squatted in Lucy. I didn't mind that. My problem with them is that they had a problem, an issue with my little brother using up a toilet, and he said that toilet is a toilet he shouldn't be using because that toilet is for them. He doesn't clean it, they clean it. Even when they had set up schedules and they could see that he probably would have cleaned or they probably would have resolved issues with him, they still chose to speak that way and push him over to a toilet right next to his room. Over these issues of toilets, over these issues then of whether or not they're bringing these people here, because now they were already asking for equipment from my brother. All of these things coming up where I just felt like I didn't enjoy living there when I was visiting my brother, and him coming over to me later on to tell me that, you know what, actually, your God is not my God. So he's trying to tell me outright that the God that I pray to is not the God that he prays to. So I already know, because they're Adventists, that that's what they believe when they look at my messages. They believe that my God is not their God. And on a literal note, when I pray to God, they believe that I pray to a different God than their God. So President Trump then says, Jesus Christ is righteous. He's a just man. He is not wicked. And that's what he was trying to say. And he was saying, what evil hath he done? Means he's a righteous man. He's not wicked. He's a just man. Because he's already seen him over the years that he hasn't done anything wrong to have these people over his messages since 9/11, 1989. Just kill him like that using the Facebook engine. I just want to check because the time behind scenes. I have more time. Okay, let me stop there.